What's worse, getting eaten by a shark or sucked up by a black hole? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna try to answer that question and a couple more. This is a series of Q&As that I'm doing on my channel. If you guys have any questions for me, put them in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer them as honestly as I possibly can in a future video. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. Firstly, I'm gonna answer this question of would I rather be lost at sea or lost in space a little bit later. These more complicated questions, I gotta think about them a little bit, so let's run through a couple more. I only got a couple questions before we get to that one, so let's run it up. Why do people want success? So of course, everyone wants success. Everyone wants to be successful, but are you doing it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? In my mind, some of the wrong reasons would be fame, money, and power. Now, of course, all of these things inherently are not bad. If you want to be successful because you want to be famous or you want to have money or you want to be seen as influential or powerful, you know, those aren't inherently bad. But if you want success only for those reasons, that might be the wrong way of thinking about it. And to me, the right reasons for wanting success and wanting, you know, these things is because you want to help people. You want to help yourself. You want to help your family. You want to help other people around you, your community. You want to help people make businesses and nonprofits and charities and stuff like that. Like I said, everyone wants success. Of course everyone wants success, but why do you want success? Put it in the comments down below why you want success. Me, I want success for, I think, the right reasons. Like I said, I want to be able to help myself. I want to be able to help my family and others around me. Of course, being famous is cool. And of course, having a lot of money is cool. Money solves a lot of problems. And having power is cool as well. Being influential is cool. Being able to say things and people believe you because you're seen as a celebrity of some sort, that's all cool. But if you're wanting to be successful only for those reasons, it might be a little bit greedy, I think is the proper word, greed. And of course, a lot of people who are successful and a lot of people who want to be successful are doing it for greedy reasons. But I am also glad to say that a lot of these celebrities nowadays are doing it for right reasons. I mean, you have people like Ashton Kutcher and Chris Pratt and stuff like that who are, you know, helping out their community. A lot of celebrities do this. A lot of people who have a lot of influence and a lot of money are doing this, where they're giving money back to the community, giving money to nonprofits, giving money to charities, and helping out their own family, most importantly. So there's nothing wrong with being successful, but just do it for the right reasons, guys. Never be too greedy, because greed only leads to bad things. Having power is okay. Having too much power is when it becomes a problem. Having money is okay. Having so much money that you spend it on unnecessary things and just waste money, that's not okay. Having influence is okay, but having so much influence or wanting so much influence that you can control people and try to make them worship you as some sort of crazy celebrity, you know, some sort of mega super celebrity, that's when it's not okay. So I want to be successful so I can help myself and so that I can help other people around me, especially my family. If I want to help my cousins or my uncles or, you know, my close family, like my future wife and my kids and stuff like that, of course I would love to do that. Help my mom and my dad, my sister and my cousins, all of that, of course I would love that. But again, if you want to be successful, which I'm pretty sure everyone does, why do you want to be successful? Why? Put it in the comments down below. Alrighty, next question. Is it better to be a jack of all trades or a master of one? So, of course, we've all heard the saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none. The question of is one or the other better, I mean, is very hard to answer. So I would say I'm a jack of all trades. I would say that I'm not an expert in any one thing at all, but I know a little bit about a wide variety of things. That's why I am, you know, capable of answering these questions, or at least I think I'm capable of answering these questions. The thing is I'm not smart. I just like thinking about stuff, and that's kind of what I do. I think about these questions and I try to come up with answers as best as I can. So if that makes me a jack of all trades, then yeah, I'm a jack of all trades, but I would definitely say I'm not a master of anything. So if you are a jack of all trades, that's very cool. If you are a master of one thing, if you're an expert in something, that is also very cool. But the thing is that they're both cool in different ways. I think a jack of all trades is better for like a neighborly kind of guy. If you're just a guy and you go over and you hang out at neighbor's house and they need you to fix something, or you know, you get asked a question about this and you're able to answer it in relatively good detail, you know, that's awesome. I feel like a jack of all trades is a little bit better at just talking to people in general. But conversely, a master of one thing or an expert in something is good at doing one thing, their job, you know, what they do, what they know about, that's what they're good at. For example, if you needed your fuse box fixed, you wouldn't call the jack of all trades because, I mean, he's probably going to do an okay job, but he's not going to do the best job. He's not going to do it perfectly, professionally, expertly. You call the electrician. But I've heard many of times that if you speak to someone who is a master in something or an expert in something, and that's kind of their whole life, for example, like engineers and scientists and stuff like that, of course, there's a couple of outliers, but most of the time, these engineers and these scientists are going to be not as good at their people skills. They kind of know the math, and they know the diagnostics, and they know the this, and they know the that, and they know everything that there is to know about what they know, but people skills and the stuff that comes kind of outside of that is a little bit lessened. Now again, like I say, this is usually, there's outliers to everything. Some people could be an incredible expert in something, and they could be a great person to hang out with, and they know quite a bit about a lot of things, and they know a lot about one thing. You know, there's some people who are a jack of all trades and a master of one, you know? But I would say generally, if you're talking about what's better, I don't think you can conclusively say which one is better. I mean, a jack of all trades, I think, is better at being just a neighborly guy, but less good at doing one specific, you know, expert job. Whereas a master of one thing is better at doing one specific job, and, you know, you're going to be able to do a much better job at their one job because they're an expert in it, as opposed to a jack of all trades will do a good enough job at a lot of things. So being a jack of all trades is cool. If you're a jack of all trades, that's awesome. If you are a master of one thing, that's also awesome. They're both good for two different things. One's good at being a really expert worker, of course, and one's good at being just generally a, you know, a handyman. You know, hey, I know this about this and I know this about that, and you know, that's just kind of how it goes. But no one is better than the other. If you're a jack of all trades, cool. If you're a master of one, also cool. No one is better. All right, now we're getting into the really deep thinking stuff. Would I rather be lost at sea or lost in space? Now, in order to make these questions equal, I have to assume four things. Two of them being in space. Number one, I have a spacesuit. If I didn't have a spacesuit, I would be instantly crushed by the vacuum of space and die within like a quarter of a second probably. And number two, I have to assume that I have infinite oxygen, because if I didn't have infinite oxygen, I would probably die in like, I don't know, a minute. So, I mean, I kind of have to have both of those things in order to at least survive in space for a little bit. Now, also to make this fair, I have to assume that I have some sort of raft in the ocean. If I didn't have a raft, I mean, I would probably get eaten by some sort of ocean predator in the first like 5 minutes. And also, I would probably die from hypothermia on the first night. The ocean is very, very cold at nighttime, and, you know, I would probably die of hypothermia within like, you know, the first 5 hours or whatever. Whenever the sun sets, you know, I would be toast. So I have to assume that I have a spacesuit, unlimited oxygen, and I have to assume that I have a raft of some sort. And fourthly, I have to assume something about both. I have to assume that people know that I'm lost. Because if no one knew that I was lost, especially in space, but also at sea, I mean, there's pretty much no hope for either situation, so I have to assume that people know that I'm lost. With those assumptions out of the way, let's talk about the pros and cons. So I would say there is a lot more cons about being at sea. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but think about it. I mean, at sea, I have to worry about storms. I have to worry about big waves. I have to worry about falling in the water and losing my raft. I have to worry about predators in the water. I have to worry about what am I going to eat? What am I going to drink? You know, I can't drink seawater, so those are a lot of things that I have to worry about. But there's also a couple of things that I have to worry about in space, of course. So some of the cons of being at sea, I don't have to worry about. Like, I don't have to worry about being, you know, hunted by anything. I don't think there's any sort of space predators, at least that I know of. And I don't think that I'm going to, you know, have any sort of natural disasters that happen. I mean, there's nothing for me really to hit in space. I mean, space is very densely packed, but since space is so big, I mean, there's basically nothing that's anywhere. I mean, me being so small, things are, you know, they're densely packed, but densely packed for the universe is like 1,000 yards away, or 1,000 yards, I mean like 1,000 light years away. So I mean, there's really nothing that I'm going to hit in space. But I also have a lot of the same problems at sea that I have at space. I mean, what am I going to eat? What am I going to drink? I mean, in space, there's nothing for me to eat and nothing for me to drink. So that's kind of a huge problem. At least at sea, I could try to, you know, maybe catch some fish with my hands or something. Or, you know, I have a chance of actually bumping into something like an island. And so I can go on this island and I can survive on this island. And, you know, maybe if I wanted to go back into this sea, then I could on my raft or whatever. But, you know, there's chances that I'll actually have something to eat, and, you know, chances that I'll have something to drink. Like I could build some sort of fire and boil water, and maybe that'll make it drinkable, you know, I don't know. But to give a conclusive answer, I would 100% say lost at sea. I mean, both of these situations would suck very bad, but I mean, being lost at sea is a lot better than being lost in space. I mean, if people know that I'm lost in space, how many people are going to be able to search for me? Like, I don't know, 20? There's like almost no one in space comparatively to Earth. Earth has like 7 billion people on it that are adults. I mean, there's 8 billion, but 7 billion of them are capable of being adults and looking for me and actually coming out with a search party and trying to find me, you know? So just on sheer probability that I get found, and also sheer probability that I can survive for longer, because in space, I mean, I'm probably gonna die within the first 3 days, because you can only survive 3 days without water, and in space there is no water. You know, I'm not gonna be able to drink anything. So realistically, in space, I'm probably gonna die in 3 days. But out on a raft in the middle of the ocean, I mean, I might be able to survive for a week or so, or 2 weeks just on the raft. And if I bump into some sort of island, I mean, I could survive for probably multiple of months, maybe even years on an island. And all that time, I have time to have, you know, multiple of people, probably, you know, a couple thousand people can be able to search for me, you know, as opposed to space. I mean, basically no one's going to be able to search for me. So absolutely, I would say I'd rather be lost at sea than be lost at space. I would say that space is probably a much prettier way to die. I mean, assuming I could see stuff, because if I'm in space and it's just black, that's probably pretty scary. But if I'm in space and I could like see stuff around me, that would probably be a much more beautiful sight to see before I die comparatively to the sea. But obviously, I would much rather be lost at sea, just sheer probability that I get found. So what do you guys think? Do you think that my answers were good enough? I hope they were. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope that you come back for the next video. But that's about all I have. Like I said, if you guys did enjoy, like it, subscribe, share it with other people, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.